Good morning, everyone. This is Bernie with CG Spectrum. Happy Monday once again. And happy 4th of July for those in the US that celebrate 4th of July. Over the weekend, me and my kids, we went up on the roof of our house to check out all the fireworks that were going on in the neighborhood. We actually got a really good view of the one that was going on in our city. Yeah, my kids loved it. They were just screaming nonstop. Yeah, there were some people in the neighborhood doing illegal fireworks, and cops were going around citing them, which kind of sucked, but you know, there's rules for a reason. There's, you know, fire hazards and things like that. But yeah, one of my neighbors who was just like two houses down, got cited. I actually saw the cops coming while they were doing their fireworks. Anyways. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Today we are going to get started on this image. I showed you guys this image done by my son probably a few months ago, actually. And this time I'm not going to copy it. You guys saw the husky one. Let me pull it up real quick. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this one. So this one I straight up like copied what my son did, right? Directly on top of his drawing. I didn't change it in terms of the design or the pose. But this time around, I'm just going to use his drawing as inspiration. I'm going to change it up, make it however I want in terms of the pose and the details of the design. But I'm going to use his image as my main inspiration. And the point of this, like the things that you can take out of this is sometimes you'll get a drawing or a sketch from a director and it'll be just as bad as this one, or sorry, not meaning for an art, like a director, that's what I mean, for an adult. Not for a kid, but for an adult. But the point is that sometimes the idea is good, right? It's just that they don't have the drawing, rendering skills to show what's in their mind, right? So same thing, my son has great ideas, but he doesn't have the skills yet to properly visually communicate what he wants to, right? He's still working on that. So what I'm gonna do, and sometimes a lot of artists who want to be concept artists, they focus a lot on rendering, right? Which is obviously important, but then they forget to focus on their concepting abilities or their creative side of their brain, where they're able to brainstorm and generate, you know, ideas nonstop. In this example, in this character example, being able to generate maybe dozens of ideas in thumbnail form before they commit, before they choose a direction. I see a lot of people who get stuck on the thumbnail stage. They'll do maybe 6 thumbnails of a character idea and then they don't know where to go from there. They'll say, oh, I'm out of ideas. And so in my mind, a lot of the times when I was a student developing my portfolio, I would be thinking about what image or idea that I have in my sketchbook is worth rendering, because I could learn how to render, but if the ideas aren't worth rendering, what's the point? You know, why would I spend all that time rendering something if the idea isn't cool? So that is the reason why you really want to develop that side where you could brainstorm and create a ton of ideas. That's what separates illustrators from concept artists. Hey, what's going on, Julian? Yeah, this is a drawing from my son. he did a few months back. But yeah, we're gonna use this as inspiration to do my own. We're not gonna do it like last time where I just copied it directly on top. I'm just gonna use this as inspiration, like I found a reference, or this is simply a sketch idea I had in my sketchbook. I'm gonna view it like that. Again, as I was saying, a lot of artists that I know, students who are students, they're always concerned about drawing pretty sketches, right? And that, I think, prevents them from generating a ton of ideas. So instead of generating like several dozen brainstorm ideas, they will only create maybe 6 or 10, right? Because they're focused so much on what it looks like instead of the idea itself, right? And I always tell them, when I was a student, I had 2 separate sketchbooks. One sketchbook was for all my studies, for life drawing and figure drawing, things like that. And of course, in that situation, I want to describe visually what everything looks like clearly in in a way that's clear, in a way that looks good. But I also had a second sketchbook where I would just brainstorm ideas. Like any idea I had in my brain, I would just sketch it out, and it didn't matter what it looked like. The point wasn't to make it look pretty, the point was to develop my creative side of my brain. I guess that's my right side of my brain. Develop that generating machine, right? Idea generating machine where your brain will just never stop, like thinking of ideas. So that part is so important, and I see a lot of artists who want to be concept artists missing that aspect. Does that make sense? So again, we're going to use this as an idea that I found in my sketchbook. Of course, it's my son's idea, but I'll show you how you can use an idea, a sketch that doesn't look all that great, and you can make it look good. Alright, so let's get started. I'm just going to color pick that. Yeah, so let's look for a good pose for this guy. Probably going to do a 3/4 pose. And I'll show you a few ways where, how you can approach this. Like in this one, obviously I'm going just typical sketching. And I'm going to stay very loose in the beginning. No reason to get tight here, as I'm like looking for a pose. And I'm trying to explore a pose that I think will fit this guy's demeanor or character, the way he walks around, carries himself. I mean, I'm not even sure what this is. I guess it's either like an alien in a spacesuit, or I don't think it's a human because the proportions look really off. But yeah, I'm gonna assume that it's a alien in a spacesuit. Something like that. Adjust the shape of his head. Since now he's not a human, but he could be any kind of alien. He's a humanoid type of thing. An alien. Hey, Shrimman. Oh yeah, thanks, Julian. I'll tell my son that you guys like his drawing. So there's certain parts that I want to retain out of this idea. The big shoulders I like. His arms are long. This character's arms are long, so I want to retain those longer proportions as well. And of course all those spikes I like. I might change it up a bit, but still retain the repetitive spikes. I'm gonna shrink this guy down. make sure I got enough room to design things. I'm not feeling restricted by my canvas size. That's what a lot of students do. You guys know what I'm talking about. You'll design up to the point of the canvas, like that if you're drawing wings, up to the point of the canvas. Don't do that. Alright, these arms are probably going to overlap the legs. Oh, I might have to shrink that arm a bit. That arm looks huge. Take that and shrink it. I made him hunched over a bit. I'm going to lengthen this part of his body a bit more. He looks a little scrunched in there. Lengthen his body out a bit, like more like the sketch that my son did. Yeah, that looks better. He looks lankier, more like the sketch again. Let's name this guy. Oops. Ooh. All right. Let's do another sketch of it just to explore. I'm going to block this one in. Instead of doing the drawing, I'm going to block it in. And big old shoulders. Maybe I'll rotate it so it's more of a front view. Yeah, that's what I'll try. Again, I'm going to shrink them down. Yeah, so this is another way to explore different poses, is not focusing on like the details, or it helps you not focus on the details when you do it this way. It makes you focus more on the overall shapes, silhouette, right? So if you are the type of person, or you're in the mode kind of where you're just fixated on details, this can help when you block it in with just shapes. You're looking at more of the overall feel and look of the pose. Yeah, and of course these proportions are completely off. And so I'm gonna adjust that. Oops. Shrink them again. Yeah, don't be afraid to constantly adjust your drawing or your sketch as you're trying to figure out a pose or the correct proportions for what you want to work off of. Always experiment, always try different things. I really feel like that's one of the differences between what makes someone like a pro and someone who's not. You're just not afraid to try different things. You're willing to try different things, you know? Explore, that's the difference. And you're not settling too early. Again, I'm gonna adjust these arms. Sometimes when you're like working on a project that's has more realistic proportions or realistic realistic style, it's hard to snap out of it, or it takes a while to snap out of that mindset, if you know what I mean. Because that's how you're kind of training your brain to be in that kind of mode to see like what's realistic and be critical when it's not realistic, like within those constraints or proportions. So yeah, like the current game I'm working on is more realistic. So as I'm working on this right now, I'm realizing, oh, like I'm not pushing the proportions enough. I'm just in that realism mindset mode right now. So I gotta push it more. Anyways, so yeah, that's more of a front view, of course. This one is more of the side view. I think this obviously looks cooler because it's more of a 3/4 angle. Let's go for this one. Again, I'm going to shrink it down a bit. I will bring this image into the current one. Oops. So I can refer to it a bit. And I'll just close that there. Alright, cool. Oh, interesting. Give me a second real quick. Just checking something. Anyways, I was just checking why the stream wasn't connected to Twitch. Don't know. Anyways, let's keep going with this. So we got our general pose. What I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna fill the base with the midtone, just so we can move forward with it quickly. I think for this one, let me see, am I gonna go straight to color on this guy? I know a lot of you guys have questions about how to take black and white to color. And some of you guys have questions about how do you paint, you know, direct to color. So I'm trying to decide which I want to do for this one. Let's go direct to color. Yeah, let's try that. So I am gonna use my son's colors again. Probably make some adjustments, but basically stick with what he has. What did you guys do for 4th of July if you're in the US? Or does anyone outside of the US know about 4th of July? About that holiday in the US? I'm already making adjustments here to the overall silhouette. I mean, some people, they're very precise about their line drawings, which is fine. Again, in my mind, it depends on the style and of the project that you're working on. And it depends on what stage of concept you're working on, meaning you could be doing exploration sketches. And this is more of how I would view it. These are just exploration sketches. That doesn't mean you can't take the concept to final. It just means that the state where the project is at is, I guess, not like completely full production. And you got the people, everyone on the project still like exploring different ideas. Nothing's like completely 100% set in stone yet. So you have the freedom to just try different things and set the tone for the project. Julian says it's the Independence Day. I just realized it by the Twitter post. As a nerd, the 4th of May is more on my perception. I'm trying to remember, what is the 4th of May? Julian, can you tell me? Is that the, I don't want to guess, actually. I'm gonna make myself look dumber. You tell me. Oh, it's a Star Wars Day? Okay. Is it really Star Wars Day? I had no idea there was a Star Wars Day. Why did they choose May 4th? Is that when they You tell me again. I don't know. I don't want to guess. May the force be with you. Awesome. Do you guys know who decided that? Who decided May 4th would be Star Wars Day? Is it just like people got together online and decided that? How was that decided on? And what do you do on Star Wars Day? What do people normally do? Do they watch like do a marathon run on all the Star Wars movies? Like, what do people usually do? Hey, what's up, Pietro? Going good. How are you doing? I have the day off today from my full-time job, but I still feel like I'm working. But at least I get to hang out with you guys and do the stream, and thank God I'm not doing orthos today. I'm just happy about that. That would be hell actually for me, as if I'm doing orthos every day, all day. That's hell. That would be my hell. If I deserve to go to hell, that's what I'd be doing all day long. Orthos for the devil. Blasphemer says another day to sell some extra merch on Star Wars Day, huh? Yep, probably. Yes, thank you everyone. That you're happy for me that I'm not in hell. Alright, so as I'm looking at this, I notice that there are probably proportional changes that have to happen down the line, but I'm not going to get hung up on it. I'm just going to keep moving forward. That's just how I work. Sure, some people will say you got to fix everything before you move forward, but not me. I just want to move forward. Alright, so let's look at these spikes. Actually, you know what? I might grab the whole thing here and stretch them out. And it's gonna mess up my layers. Oh, no, I'm not gonna do that yet. What I'm gonna do, let's see. Just gonna clean it up a little bit. And I will grab all the layers and stretch them out. That's what I'm gonna do. yeah. Alright, so on top of this, now that I have a more solid looking pose and, you know, I could see generally what my silhouette will look like. But I still need to add in these spikes, which is a big part of the silhouette. So I'm going to try that first before I add any more details. So let's go back down here. Yeah, I'm more of a, to be honest, man, it might piss you guys off, but I'm more of a Star Trek fan, a Trekkie, rather than a Star Wars. I think Star Wars is cool, it's entertaining, but I think it's too shallow for me. I'm saying you guys who like Star Wars are shallow. I'm just kidding. But you know, Star Trek is like a lot deeper in my opinion in terms of the story and all that. Like, isn't Star Wars supposed to be more like, oh, what do you call that? I don't know what the right wording is, but shoot, sorry, it's too early in the morning. I just ran out of coffee here, so I'm not gonna remember what I want to say. I mean, obviously the visuals and stuff like that in Star Wars are like cool and iconic, which I like. It's just the story that I have a problem with, I think. It's not deep enough. Oops, got distracted. Let's go back to working on the silhouette. Yeah, I guess it's not supposed to be deep, right? I have the wrong expectations, it's my fault. Yeah, it's not meant to be deep. It's just to like watch and have fun. It's like, yeah. Hey, what's up, P2? P2 says I'm a Star Trek fan as well, over Star Wars, I guess. Julian says I watch both. Yeah, I watch both too. I mean, I know I'm not a Star Wars fan because I haven't watched like the most recent stuff with that Baby Yoda and all that other thing, those other shows they got. I haven't watched any of those, so That's how I know I'm not really into it. But I want to, actually. I just haven't gotten around to it. I do want to watch him eventually. Blasphemer says Star Wars is just the hero's tale in space. Julian says, yeah, Star Wars is like a family drama in space. Yeah, I guess that's right, huh? Blasphemer says, but I prefer the fantasy of Star Wars over the science fiction of Trek. Most Star Wars fans hate the new stuff anyways. Oh, true, that's true. Or the more vocal part of the fandom, I guess. That's what Blasphemer said. Yeah. That makes sense. Alright, these spikes, they look too safe to me right now. I think my son's gonna be disappointed in these dinky spikes. Let's go crazier with it. Yep, that looks better. Stretch them out a bit. Yeah, you always want to push things as much as you can, even with realism. Within the constraints of realism, you still want to push things in terms of how things read, in terms of even style within realism. You're always trying to push things. Of course, it's a much tighter range of how much you can push, but again, in terms of even proportions, color, textures, things like that, silhouette, you want to push things always, especially within gaming, because you're seeing things on a much smaller scale. I mean, like on a screen. Even in gaming, it's, you know, it's not like you're seeing it on a, it's not being designed to be watched on a in a cinematic screen, right? In a theater. So you're always trying to push things to read on a smaller scale, zoomed out, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Alright. I am trying to decide if I should fix things right now. Like, I know there's a lot to fix here, but I'm just trying to decide if I should do some of that right now or later. Because sometimes it can create problems if you wait too long to fix certain things. Like, I'm watching this tangent right now that's happening with the arm and the body, the leg area. I want that to read clearly. Right now there's a tangent there. To be honest, sometimes, like, because of the way I'm used to working, like, I cut and paste everything along the way of my process, and it messes up my layers, right? Which makes it more difficult in the long run. But in the short term, it makes things faster for me to, like, flesh out. That's why I do that. In this case, I am gonna try to stick to the right process so that it's not confusing to you guys. Yeah. That's what I'm, like, struggling with in my mind right now. I'm trying to fight the urge to, like, work the way I want to work. Like, if I was just you know, working on this privately at home. Let's try this. Let's actually just cut it out. Readjust. I'm gonna pull this arm out more. It's just looked too scrunched in. And I know those shoulders have to go bigger eventually. So I'm trying to make some more room there. Alright, let's start going with the details. Let's add some more details into the drawing. Let me adjust the sketch real quick so I don't get confused. Pull it out a bit. Hey, what's up, Haris? Yeah, this time I'm not copying what my son did, like not drawing directly on top of his pose, but I'm using it as a reference, inspiration to create my own pose and all that stuff. Julian says the spike things could also be feathers. True. It could be a lot of things, right? You're right. I like how you're thinking. It could be anything. You could explore anything with it, right? It could be carrots. Yeah. It could be bones. His bones like morphing and sticking out. Anything you want, right? Whatever your mind sees. Alright, so let's get going. Alright, so I am going to take a closer look at what my son did again in the sketch, just to see if I can pull some more designs from it that I can manipulate. Let's try that. You're doodling cool. Yeah, see this, hey, Hardis, this is actually exactly what we're talking about before, where you take a sketch from your sketchbook that doesn't look pretty, right? And later on you could pick it out and start making it look pretty. It's just the idea that I'm using, right? So this is something that you could directly learn from or apply. If you consider this like a doodle that my son did, right? So that the point is the drawing of your idea doesn't matter as long as you could understand it. Doesn't matter what it looks like, as long as you can understand your idea and pull from it later. I wish I could hear some music right now. I usually listen to music when I'm drawing stuff. It just kind of gets me in the right mindset. I'm not distracted. I get into a flow of things. I'm sure you guys all do that too. It's like the weirdest thing to be talking and drawing at the same time. It's definitely not natural. It's weird. It puts me in a different mindset. It's fun, but the results aren't great usually. That's the problem. It's I don't mind it. It's just that the results of whatever I'm working on sucks when I'm talking a lot and trying to do this. So even with this stuff, like who was it, Julian was talking about, this could be interpreted in so many different ways. The sketch, that is. Excuse me, sorry. Even right now, I'm not sure how I want to take it. The way I'm doing the eyes looks more organic right now, the inside of it, but you can definitely make this more hard surface like. So let me try that too. I'm not sure, so I'm just going to try multiple things. And basically I'm starting with the head right now, and that will determine what I do for the rest of the body. Sorry, excuse me. I'm not really like a really good at doing hard surface stuff for concepts, mainly because I don't have a lot of experience doing it. I'm not at like an extremely high level when it comes to this kind of stuff. What I would have to do is actually gather quite a bit of reference to make it really work. Without that, you know, it is going to suffer quite a bit without taking the time to get reference and get inspiration from reference to make sure that the quality of whatever I'm working on is at a higher level. Yeah, it's not magic, guys. It's all like work, you know what I mean, to make things look high level. Right now I'm relying on whatever references that I've seen in the past in my brain, trying to apply what I know, the limited scope of what I know about this kind of stuff. I'm doing it this way because, or more of the hard surface stuff, because I know it's gonna look better instead of the more organic looking style direction for this particular concept. Yeah, I think this is definitely better than the more organic look, so I'm gonna go with this. So again, whenever you guys are in doubt about which direction to take an image, always just sketch it out, mock it up real quick, and then you have something to compare it to, right? Don't guess, don't wonder in your head, just sketch it out, just try it. It takes only, what, it took me like 5-10 minutes, and now you know. At least you know you're making a better decision than what you would have or a informed decision, because you tried something out, you compared it visually, and now you know which one looks better. Maybe it'll be more like biotech. Maybe I'll mix it up a little bit. Biotechy. Oh, Haris says, the struggle is real. A lot of streamers have this problem, but they promise it gets better. Okay, I'm sure it does. Again, like with practice, anything gets better. I don't think it'll ever get easy though, or better than just drawing on your own, maybe. Haris also says, got colored pencils and photocopier paper. Really fun to go back to paper. Cool. Yeah. I mean, I think it's good to go back and forth. If you have the time to do that, that's great. It definitely feels completely different. Right? Hmm. Oops. Hmm. Haris says, well, you got to be more decisive and not make a mess, or really draw really light, but with more intent. Talking about color pencils, using the color pencils. Yeah, I used to draw, when I used to draw colored pencils, I used to use like a light blue colored pencils to sketch with and draw on top of that with either a dark blue, black, or a red just to refine the drawing. I think it's inspired by like the way people at Disney or DreamWorks used to draw back in the day. Julian's saying, when you are in a studio, do you also need your silence to work? Is it distracting for you if there are sounds? I really feel this way. Um, yes, it can be distracting if there's a lot of noise or a lot of people coming to talk to you, things like that. Sometimes that reminds me, sometimes I guess it was annoying to me like when sometimes people will come, like I'm drawing, right? I'm super concentrating and someone will be behind me just watching me, right? For a while. Not like a minute. Like I don't care if someone stops by and looks and then leaves, right? I don't care about that. But sometimes people will be there for like minutes, right? And I think it's annoying to me, I guess, when it's not someone who's an artist. Like if it's an artist, I understand because they're maybe trying to like, I don't know, they're getting inspired or they want to learn something or just for fun, whatever. It's related to what they do. So I get it. But if there are times when it's like some people at work who are not even in the art field, they would just come by and just stare at what I'm doing for a long time, and I'm like, dude, I'm trying to draw here. Like, what do you want? You know what I mean? And it's like people I don't even know. Like, I think that was the other problem is if it's someone I know, then it's like I don't care, you know? Like I don't feel uncomfortable if it's someone I know, but someone I don't even know and they're like standing behind me for minutes at a time. It's like, dude, I'm trying to work here, you know? Oh, your girlfriend watches. Julian says I feel that way with my girlfriend when she watches me. Uh, yeah. I mean, there's always noise going around. There's always people coming to talk to you. That's not a problem. I mean, or you have to get used to that. That's just something you get used to. Does it help you concentrate? No, but that's just part of being in a studio. Um, I think the more comfortable you get with the people around you at work, it's better. That's how I feel at least. It depends on if I know them well or not. Or like what the point is. Why are they like standing behind me? Like you got nothing better to do? You're not even doing art. Why are you here? Oh boy. I'm just a cranky old man now. I get annoyed by things more easily than I used to when I was younger, to be honest. Gotta admit that. Just don't want to deal with things when you're older. Damn, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago actually. I think it was on Saturday. Some guy came to my door at my house asking about my internet. And my wife got the door, and I was just sitting in a chair, and I heard what they were talking about. And, you know, he was like, oh, I'm not trying to sell anything. You know, I just talked to your neighbor. Like, you know, they had internet issues, so I was wondering if you guys had internet issues. And he was trying to act like he was like my neighbor's friend or something, when to me it was obvious the guy's trying to sell something. And he's trying to act like he's like friends with your neighbor and blah blah blah. And I was like, what the hell? And I got really annoyed. I was like, tell him you're not interested. I was like yelling that. I was like, why are you even talking to him? Just shut the door. So yeah, I'm a cranky old man now. I was like really annoyed by it. More than I should have been, probably. He's just trying to do his job, you know, make some money. Got to deal with people like me yelling at him. Get out of here. He was asking all these questions too. He's like, how many people live here? Like, are you guys having a party? Like, I see all these shoes. It's like, mind your own business. I'm so mean. Why are you asking all these questions? Oh man, I'm going so slow because I'm rambling here. I'm distracting myself. I'm getting myself all riled up for nothing. Ah! Let's try that. Yeah, Julian, that's how I justified my anger and annoyance with him, is that he's not being honest. He had a badge on, like a, I don't know, like a badge like for the company that he works with his ID on it. And he's trying to act like he's not trying to sell something. I was like, what are you talking about? You obviously work for a company, you have a badge, like an ID, a company badge, an ID and everything. I don't know why he was asking about the shoes, that's what I'm talking about. I think he was just trying to act like, again, he was like someone local, someone in the neighborhood, right? Even though he wasn't, obviously. Someone who's cool, you know, he just wanted to chat and like get on your like friendly neighbor side, right? So that he could sell you something. You know what I mean? Like he's someone trustworthy. He's someone cool, you know, that you can talk to, right? I think that was his angle that he was trying to play. And that's why it annoyed me too, because I was like, dude, I know what you're doing. Stop it. You're not fooling anybody. You got a cranky old man living in here. You knocked on the wrong door. Hey, what's up, Mark? How's it going? Good to see you here. How are you doing? Did you have a good... How's the hurricane in Florida? Did it come by or Are you guys okay? What happened? You guys survived the hurricane? I'm drawing this a little too tight, to be honest. Like, it probably has to do with me streaming and drawing at the same time, to be honest. Because, you know, maybe I'm a little self-conscious. Because, really, if I was drawing this at home by myself, I would be noodling this thing. Like, I would just be drawing all ugly. Let me draw a little uglier, to be honest. Be more real about how I would do things. The process wouldn't look that pretty for sure. Not saying this looks all pretty, but it's just cleaner than what I would normally do. I'll loosen up a little bit. And it's just hard to concentrate, I guess, like when I'm, like if I'm drawing really loose, like I need to concentrate even more, I feel like, because, or else it'll get too out of control. So even my looseness has some order, but it's hard to do that when I'm not super concentrating, if that makes any sense. Excuses, right? Ah. I used to work with this guy that was really old. He used to work on, I told you guys this story before, I think. This was at my first job. And this guy was like, he must have been like in his late 60s or something. He was like, he was a grandfather. And he used to work on like Anastasia. I don't know if you remember that that film, Anastasia, the animation. But anyways, he used to do stuff like that. But he was working at a game company at the time when I met him. And he would always sigh. Like I would always hear him sigh because I was working right next to him. He would always be like, ah, ah. And I was like, oh, what's wrong with that old guy? But now I'm doing that. Now I'm the old guy that's sighing in the corner. Ah, ah. Anyways, I'm making fun of myself. Mark says practicing, we are waiting for it, but it's tropical storm for now, so it will be like always. Oh, so it hasn't come by yet. Okay. Yeah, I met a guy recently while I was swimming. He told me he lived in Florida for I think he said 20 years. He was an older guy. But yeah, I don't know. He said he liked it there. I know you don't like it that much there, Mark. But and I was like, why are you here in California then? If you like Florida so much, isn't it a lot cheaper to live there than California? Why come to California then? It's crazy here. What's going on with this? Okay, let's do something like that. Alright, so this guy has spikes on the other side of his arm too. I'm gonna see if I can make that work later. It might make the whole thing look busy, too busy, but we'll see. Yep, I noticed a lot of things I gotta adjust later. But again, I'm gonna try to ignore it for now. A lot of things that I want to adjust. Oh boy. Let's keep moving forward. What time is it? Oh man, 11:15. Gotta be looser. Do you guys talk to yourselves while you're like in your mind? I'm not saying like out loud, but or out loud. Do you guys talk to yourselves when you're working? Like I'm always talking just to myself in my head, at least, not out loud. Sometimes out loud. Do I need medication? Sometimes out loud, but not for the most part, thankfully. But right now, I feel like I'm talking to myself. When I stream, I feel like I'm talking to myself. But who does that? Who talks to yourself when you're drawing or doing art? Who's gonna confess that they're crazy? Who can admit that they're crazy? Oh boy. I think I'm gonna mess up the process here, guys. I'm trying not to, but it's falling apart. I'm trying to go back and do it the right way instead of painting over all my layers. But I might have messed it up. Oops.
Listen as your day unfolds, challenge what the future holds. Try and keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted, don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wise. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be strong, guy. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know, love will save the day.
Julian says, yes, I do, sometimes also out loud. Alright, you're crazy too, just like me. Julian says, I have this very calm Bob Ross voice in my head. Really? That's weird. I just have my voice in my head. Interesting. Bob Ross is talking to you. The spirit of Bob Ross talks to Julian. That's actually pretty cool, because yeah, he's very calm, so I guess that would help you. Mark says it's fine until you're not answering to yourself with the demonic voice on this strange ancient language. Oh yeah, that's yeah, when it gets to that point, I don't know. You gotta go talk to somebody. Or you need an exorcism, right? You gotta go see a priest at that point. Oh boy, that reminds me of some weird stuff. It reminds me of like my roommate in college who was a little nutty. He uh he told me later on that he heard voices in his head uh telling him to jump out the window. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at that. Sorry. I laugh because it's I mean, I still shouldn't be laughing at it, but it's because I know him. You know, he's not just that, right? I know who he is. I have history with him, so. Anyways, that's why I laugh, because of that, but no, you should not be laughing at that, generally. But he did get help, he's fine. Sorry, I'm inappropriate at times. I laugh at things I shouldn't be laughing at. I like these little ball things that my son has on the bottom of these spikes. It looks like it could rotate. So I'm gonna include that in there. See, both these arms are looking different now, which is fine. It's like my way of exploring, doing something different, and then I'll choose eventually the one I like better. So forget the layers, I messed up everything. But eventually I'll make it work. Where are you from, Julian? Germany. Cool. Yeah, my dad went to Germany and he loved it there. He said, like, he would talk about like how he would go to into houses, like the older homes and buildings, and he would notice like the attention to detail and how the homes were designed, like even the doors and the windows. Like he would just talk about all that stuff where it's like very noticeable how things were just well made there. Is that true, Julian? That's what people say in general, right? That I guess they say that about German cars. Um, but yeah, like there is an idea that Germans pay a lot of attention to detail. When it comes to designing and stuff like that. Or is that not true? You tell me. Is it like one of those things where people say Asians are good at math, and that's just not true for every Asian? Alright, I'm trying to decide what to do with this belly area, or torso area. I don't want to do something completely different from the sketch. Trying to decide how to interpret what's in the sketch.
I've been drinking Kool-Aid cameras like I did when I was 9, 'cause I like to pretend that I haven't lost the time. In the end, the nostalgia, though it tastes fine, I can only drink a couple 'cause it feels like a lie. We'd play Halo and we'd lay low in our basement until the sun began to rise. We would go to school but not learn too much, 'cause it's hard to read when you've got tired eyes. Months go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime. Years go by, the time it flies, past the days that we drink Kool-Aid in the summertime.
So when you're designing things in a concept, always make sure you understand what's going on with the design. If you don't, then there's no way the viewer can understand what's going on. So sure, there's sometimes going to be areas where it's a bit ambiguous, but you want to avoid those things. You want to always try to understand what you're doing and then describe that visually, right? Obviously. And of course, again, there are areas that are much more important in how you visually communicate, like, for example, the head, the shoulder, the upper body, basically. And there's areas that are less important, right? But yeah, again, prioritize where you're spending your time and what you're spending the most amount of time on in developing in terms of design, for sure. Julian says, I'm not sure. Maybe at some places. I just know we are in general very bureaucratic. Oh yeah, I'm working for a local car manufacturer, and there we look very close to quality. But yeah, it's not everywhere. Okay, cool. Oh, you work for a local car manufacturer. Cool. Hey, give me a like for this stream if you like these streams. I'd appreciate it. Give me 1 minute. I will be right back, okay? Thanks. Alright, thanks for waiting. As I walked away and thought about it for a second, I realized I think I'm sticking too closely to the inspirational sketch. But again, I might change everything up later. Don't be afraid to change things, that's all I gotta say. Because at this stage, I'm not rendering anything, right? I'm just still exploring the design. I'm figuring out the design. So let's actually cut this dude up a bit more. Yeah, I feel like this guy could get a bit lankier, actually. Oops. I don't recommend this to everybody, but for me, if I'm working on something and I don't like it, I don't see the potential in it anymore, I'll just quit working on it. I'm talking about if it's for personal work, I'll just quit working on it. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are times when you have to struggle with things and try to get it to the point where you want it to be, for sure, but again, if I've been working on something and it's not working, I will just quit. I'll scrap it and go to my next idea. Pull out a different image from my sketchbook, you know? There's thousands of ideas. Why would I get hung up on this one, right? And the point of why I'm saying that right now is just that, again, you should never be afraid to try different things. Don't feel like you're stuck with this, that you have to make this what you have now work. Just play around with it. Don't be afraid to improve things. change things up. You have to get used to it. Changing things if you want to be a concept artist. That's everyday life of a concept artist. Things are changing all the time. Like seriously, even for my job, it's like we've been working on this character design for months. An important character design. And last minute it gets scrapped. Meaning like they changed the story on it, and then we gotta adjust everything. All the artwork was approved. It even went to the modeling stage. And then we have to change everything again because the story changed. And that's just part of concepting. Can it be frustrating sometimes? Yes, it can be. Especially when it's like things that could have been avoided, right? But, you know, again, that's just how it is. Nothing new. Oh man. A lot of the stuff I'm not happy with, but trying to make adjustments so that I am happier with it. Oops. Yeah, it's good to take a step away from your image, then you can get a fresh look at it, as you guys know. Even my little short minute break made me realize certain things. Make the silhouette pop a little more. Hey, what's up, Alexios? Wouldn't it make more sense if the head's lower part was a bit rotated towards the torso? Don't know if you have worked on it, however, just joined. If the head's lower part rotated towards the torso? Like angled down? Sorry. Yeah, we'll take a look at that later. Again, yeah, I've been saying that there's a lot of things that I noticed that I'm not happy with at this point, but yeah, again, as you can see, I'm constantly changing what I'm doing here. Even at the very end, like let's say once it's rendered, I'll be changing the proportions on things. You'll see later. I do crazy things with it. I think, again, the main point of what you guys can get out of this, well, there's a couple things, but one of the things is that you should always feel free to change things as long as it improves upon what you currently have. Don't be afraid to change things up. Be open to change at any stage of the concept art process, especially when you're doing when you're just building up your portfolio, because you don't have to please anybody, right? Like no one's telling you what you have to do, right? At that point, you can do whatever you want. So why not do whatever you want? But yeah, like you're saying, Alexios, I will be playing with the angles and things like that later on, or as I continue with this for sure. Right now, like the head, the part you're talking about, I'm not sure. Again, I think I have to develop it a bit more to see and compare what needs to be done. At this point, I was focused on other things, and I'm not sure. But for sure, I'll think about that. Hmm. There's another row of spikes that I'm trying to figure out if I want to add or not. Or I might leave that for later once I'm done with the general concept stuff here.
Do you think you're better off alone? Do you think you're better off alone? Do you think you're better off alone?
Yeah, not sure if that looks cool or not. Hmm. Let's make these tubes, maybe. Oop. Let's keep going with the legs. I'm not sure what to do with the torso, to be honest, right now. So I'm just gonna move forward. Legs. Looks like iguanodon spikes. Or sorry, why did I say iguanodon? I meant iguana. Iguana spikes. That's what it looks like. Try making the head smaller. See how that changes the overall feel of it. A little more hunched over. Just a reminder to you guys, keep doing your studies. I know I rant about it all the time, especially with my students. I do. Remember to do your studies every day. That's how you're going to get better. That's how you're going to see quick improvements in your concept art. Do your studies at a set time if possible, so you're creating like a good habit, you know what I mean? Something you can do daily, that you do daily. For a certain amount of time. Give yourself small goals that are attainable. Don't go too crazy, right? Meaning like with your goals, match it to what's realistic for you to create a good habit. Something that you can actually achieve for the first few weeks, and then increase the intensity of your goals so that you will see improvement and get encouraged to keep going with your goals, right? Instead of getting discouraged when you make some lofty, crazy goals, right? I'm guilty of that too. So, you know, be realistic with your goals. At the same time, always push yourself. Always stretch yourself when you get comfortable. You can almost measure your success based off of how many studies you're doing on a weekly basis. So you don't have to measure your success based off of if the concept art or illustration you did looks great or not for the week, but really about how many studies you're doing. How often you're doing it consistently. Hey, I hope you guys have a great week. Working on your projects, whatever else you got to do. Thanks for joining me on the stream. Stay cool, because I know in some parts of the world right now, it's super hot. I know where I'm from, it's super hot. So stay cool, and I will see you guys next week, okay? Next Monday. Alright, see you guys. Thank you. Bye.